behind many of the spectacular triumphs of the war today lies an unspectacular but increasingly important naval service, the Naval Air Transport Service. 5 days after Pearl Harbor, NATS was launched with 7 planes under its command. To today, more than 200 NATS transports fly a total of some 70,000 miles a day. Following the quick development of U.S. routes came the extension of service to Pearl Harbor, then the routes along the northwest coast to the Aleutians. At the same time, NATS pushed northeast to Iceland. Then was developed the reach to Midway, and then down under to Brisbane in Australia, through the Samoan Islands and New Caledonia. Meanwhile, in the South Atlantic were developed the routes to Brazil, Natal, and Rio. Then across the seas to Dakar and Bathurst in British-held Africa. Then Port Lyautey, followed by the Central and North Atlantic crossings serving the African invasion. Here you see a transatlantic flyer settling down in Port Lyautey, Africa, loaded with strategic supplies for Mediterranean operations. She comes to rest, mechanics swarm over her engines, replace worn parts with spares, while everything from tires to tail is minutely inspected. There goes another couple of thousand gallons of 100-octane gasoline, made with plenty of tetraethyl lead, the product of one of the most important home front battles in today's global warfare. Without it, NATS schedules couldn't be maintained. The cargo carried by NATS is some of the most important cargo in the war. Here, for instance, are huge engines for fighter planes needed in Italy or southern France. There are spare parts, communications equipment, blood plasma, medical supplies, among the many emergency items that must be rushed by air to the fighting fronts. And most important of all is mail. Mail without which home would be much more than a mere 3,000 miles away. It's just a day or so away by NATS. Both land and seaplanes serve as the workhorses of NATS fast service. This is a PB-2Y3, or 2x3, as it is known to its pilots, coming down in the bay at Bathurst, next door to Dakar. The 2x3, or Coronado, made by Consolidated, is a proud plane shouldering a big part of the load in a war presenting unprecedented problems in transport and supply. Dark-skinned natives gape in wonder at the big bird that daily arrives with thousands of pounds of battle equipment and supplies. Far from the present scenes of action, Bathurst, a British African port, nevertheless produces many hands to help in the job of rushing materials through. War to this young worker is not half as terrifying as a camera. Not the least important of NATS cargoes is men. Men returning home after long service overseas. Can't seem to find your name, mate. Oh, yes, there it is. And don't think that isn't a relief. And so a score of tired guys pile in to sleep on mail sacks and crates for another few thousand miles to home. But there's no sleep up front, for the weather is piling up, and the pilots must be alert. In this racket, storm is one of the worst enemies, and the struggle can be just as anxious in the constant necessity to get things through to their destination on time. For in NATS conception of service, there is no room for the words too little or too late. NATS men can take it, but so can their planes, and so can their engines. powerful Pratt & Whitneys and Wright Cyclones, casting a cloudy wake reaching out to every important battle station around the globe. Now, on the other side of the Atlantic, a PBM shoulders its way through rain and fog into Port of Spain, Trinidad. From the Caribbean and South America come many vital war supplies. 30% of the air cargoes are carried by naval air transport planes. Drugs, quartz crystals, and mica, beryllium ore for aircraft engine metals, are just a few of the vitally important war materials flown out of South America in a steadily increasing stream. There comes another PBM in from the south, the graceful two-motored product of Naval Company, one of the pioneers in naval transport construction. Many other plants contribute to its production. Goodyear, Westinghouse, and Continental Can produce the control surfaces. Propellers by Curtiss and Hamilton Standard. Wings from Fairchild. Beaching gear from Otis Elevator. Floats from Bolanka Aircraft. The number one priorities of a world at war fly in these hulls. For while less than 1% of war materials are carried by air, the average value of air cargo is $3.58 a pound, or 99 times the 3 cents a pound value of ship cargoes. This is in Natal, on the eastern hump of Brazil, through which is routed the so-called main line traffic from Karachi, India. To the people who share in the production of transport planes, the Navy gives thanks for making possible a service without which the war could not be fought as fast. As we face the expansion of the war in the Pacific, there too naval air transport reaches out almost on the heels of our landing forces in Tarawa, New Guinea, Kwajalein, Saipan, Guam, and beyond. This is the latest recruit to be enlisted in NAT's far-flying squadrons, the huge 70-ton Mars, big sister of the Mariner, and also built by Glenelg Martin Company. The Mars has broken all records in the transport of air cargo. The boys who fly the fighting planes might not know what to do with this giant, but they certainly wouldn't know what to do without it, and without its smaller sister ships that form the air supply line. In planes like these, one may glimpse the future of air transport. No one can forecast details, but we can recognize that the production of military and commercial aircraft will be one of our most important industries for a good many years to come, an industry in which all of us may prosper.